Okay. Nobody say anything. We're recording. So good morning. It's the very first class, the weddings and events class. And just so you know that how I'm running this class, I'm going to walk you through the basics, well, pretty much in a lot of the details too, of basic American weddings. They're pretty much the same, truthfully. If you've ever been to a wedding, an American wedding, and you've been to two of them, I bet you they're a lot alike. That's just the way American weddings work. But the concepts of what I'm going to be pulling out are interesting as far as if you prepare, if you ask questions, and you talk to your client ahead of time, you know what's coming. And thus you can photograph it very well and be known, have some good work to show, be able to network with other professionals in those fields. And you could make a good, decent living doing that. And I'm going to show that all to you. So other events, they all work pretty much the same. So as we go along through each one of these classes, think of it as a concept, not just this is how I do a wedding in this really small box. Yes, that's how you do a wedding, but that's how you would do any wedding or any major event. So having done plenty of these in my career, which I just celebrated 19 years being in business, beginning of June. So yay me, I forgot all about it. I would have celebrated it. It is a basis for all events. So a way to do things and do them well. So take the ideas and then go with it from there. Most of the assignments that we do throughout the 2 months we're here, 3 months, June, yeah, very, very basic of August. So basically June and July, we only have like 8-9 weeks at all. Think of this. Wow, I'm so sorry. I just lost my train of thought. Coffee is needed. Think of them, the assignments are really going to be, what are you getting from this lecture that we do? And this is telling a lot of information. I'm going to have 2 shooting assignments. One at the end is actually shooting an event of some sort. The idea, but then we're going to do the whole thing together. So it's the shooting the event, networking from it, posting on social media, the whole bit. But I'm going to lay it all out before you get there. So please, not a lot of questions right this moment because we'll get there. Okay. Let me get through the other stuff first and it'll make more sense as you go along. Okay. Lost my train of thought again. It'll come back. Any big questions right this moment?
If you have a opportunity for an event that's coming sooner than, say, the end of this class, um, is it a go ahead? Can we go ahead?
You can, absolutely. But I also want you to network from it. So there's more information. I believe that you can go and look at the assignment if you want to.
Yeah, I read through them. Yeah.
It's nothing that you guys can't handle. In other words, I just didn't want you to have to go shoot it next week and not have some stuff
Oh, no.
underneath it to understand what's going on and
Correct.
some conversation. But I'm sure it's nothing you guys can't handle, to be very honest. But you could make an event out of anything. Seriously, you could go to the farmer's market and make that an event. You just have to follow some basic guidelines, which is really not terribly difficult, to be honest. Okay, so as we're doing this, I will, if you miss class, that's not a big deal. I actually have a class recorded from last year when I made this, and it's pretty much going to be the same stuff. So it's not going to be a big deal. I already know that one of the students aren't going to be able to make it. So there'll be recordings. So I'm really not concerned if you don't do it. Cool. All right. Let me write down who's all here so I can take attendance. Avery. Okay, so my second one in, Kiaree, Carrie?
Kiari.
Kiari, thank you very much. Hello, I haven't met you before. How you doing?
You're talking to me?
Yep.
I'm doing good. Yeah, just here for class now.
Say that one more time, that last bit.
I'm doing good. Just sitting at home,
Sitting at home. Gotcha. Sorry. I'm a little hard of hearing. And sometimes I hear those things and I'm like, what was that? So sorry. Ruth. Mia, good to see you. Tabitha. Hello. Oh, awesome hair.
I'm eating, sorry.
Lovely. Okay. All right, got everybody's name here. So let's go over a very basic wedding. So I'm going to share my screen. Here's the assignment. You know what? I'll just change this to be this here because, I think that's fair. All right, so we do next week. So as you're going through a wedding, think of it, you are telling a story, the whole story, whether it's an event, a wedding, whatever it is. Like I said, you could make going to the Saturday morning farmer's market a story. Just think of those journalistic W's. Who's there? What's going on? When is it? And when is just as easy as telling, well, it's a summer thing. So everyone's, they're selling flowers and all sorts of fruits versus markets in the winter, like a Christmas market or something to that effect. Everyone's in gloves and scarves and jackets or coats and they're drinking hot chocolate. Well, that looks much different than when you're in something in the summer. Why are they there? If it's a farmer's market, they're there for the food. So you want to show people doing food things, having fun, bringing their dogs, whatever it is. Is that giving good heads up, shake of heads? That makes sense so far? The who, what, where, when's? Good. Thank you
Yes,
very
that makes
much.
sense.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So think about that wherever you are and whatever you're doing. You could be having a family gathering. That's an event. Who's there? Why are they there? When is it? What's happening? These are very, very important things to get across photographically. All right. So let's talk about from beginning to end what something would look like. I've written out a basic American wedding timeline, and I want you to fill in blanks. Has anybody in this class not been to a wedding at all, ever? Period. Okay. I'm going to take that silence as a no. We've all been to weddings. Okay. So as you're going through the wedding, think about the shots you need to take. You're the photographer. This is your pretend wedding in your head. Think about all the different things. The grading is on the thoroughness to think through the event from beginning to end and all of the different photos that you want to get for the client. Get all the basics and then anything extra or fun or unique that you want to do. I have a few that I put into my weddings that are unique. And feel free to take it and use it because I think they're just all great things. All assignments, please turn it in as a PDF, not a Word doc, because the differences between Macs and PCs, there's just too much. So a PDF is always opened. So PDF, please, always. Okay, so partial example of this, and this is partial, but you can take this and run with it. Fill it in as much as you think you could do. So before the location, you guys ever notice when you watch either a movie or a TV show, when they change locations or even start out there's a location shot or 5. Sometimes they go very quick. Sometimes it's 1 and it's slow. You guys ever notice that? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So location, and think about what it is. There's always a pretty sign out there that says what the name of the place is. What are other things that show the location? Again, always think wide, medium, close. Just get all kinds of interesting things. Details. I love getting the details long before the wedding starts. And generally before the bride gets a dress on, and I'm going with the generic male, female model here, please. Nobody be offended. Just go with the idea of things, okay? I'm not going to stop you from turning in whatever it is, what kind of wedding, whatever thoughts. I don't care. I don't care. Just please don't get offended with my traditional model here, because this is what works for me. This is the things I've shot. These are the things that make sense. And to me, bride and groom is easier than saying groom and groom. Because then you're like, well, who? With what? And who are we talking about now? Which one? So please, nobody be offended by this, okay? I mean, no offense whatsoever. Okay, so details, dress, the shoes, the flowers, the rings. What other details do you guys think? Now, this is where I want feedback. What other details could you come up with the beginning of the wedding here? What other details, which besides the dress, the shoes, the flowers, and the rings? What other stuff?
The veil.
Location, like the building or
Okay. Okay, what else?
The weather can be a big factor in the well too as well. Like before the wedding, like you take the pictures.
I'm so sorry. I heard you, but I didn't understand any of that.
The weather,
The weather. Okay, thank you.
because you have to plan out the weather, because like what if it rains, like then you'll probably go in the morning or wait another day to like take the pictures. So like the weather can play a big factor.
I hear you. I hear you.
That's like
Anybody
the
else?
reception.
Okay, but before, yeah, the reception place, you're absolutely right, Tabitha. That was Tabitha, right? Did I see that turn on and
Yeah,
off?
that was me.
Okay.
Maybe their
Yes.
hands. The hands.
Mm-hmm. But yep,
Special tradition.
papers. So the invitation, all those other things, all the paper goods they've had printed.
Special traditions that some might have, or rituals.
Absolutely. There's all kinds of things. So that's what you'd probably put in here too for your details. Any other things that you guys have come up with or you can think of, put it there in the details. Bride. Here's a few. There's a bazillion and 5 extras. What else do you have for the bride? Now this is before she sees the groom, before the ceremony. What other things can you photograph with the bride?
First look with the father, maybe.
Okay, yep.
you can
Her
get shots of her
bridesmaids.
getting her makeup done and hair done and things like that.
Yep. Those are my first 2 on the list too. Good, yep.
Obviously with her mom, and you're already
Yes.
doing that in the pre-ceremony, it looks like. But yeah, I'm thinking about her with her bridesmaids
It's okay.
so
I'm gonna be,
you're down there, but you're down there in the pre-ceremony stuff, so never mind.
it's okay. It's good to think of it because it may not belong right where I'm at, but it belongs. That's a good thought. The groom, same ideas, finishing touches of getting ready. I will tell you guys, if you are not familiar with this, it'll take the women, for whatever reason, an hour to get ready. No joke. It'll take men 5 minutes. No, I don't know who you're around, Tabitha.
My partner takes like 3 times as long as I do.
Oh my goodness.
I also take long to get ready just because I'm lazy.
Me too.
Okay, that's fair. That is very fair. The weddings that I've been a part of over the years, I go in there, the guys are ready, and I have to like redo things like their cufflinks or their tie because I'm like, I need photographs of that. And that's, yeah. Secondary thought, learn how to tie a tie. Learn. Even girls learn it too, because you have no idea how many times these men do not tie their own ties. And they're going to
Can I
turn
just
around
bring
and
a
look.
clip on?
Well, yeah, if that's an option, but most of the time they don't, and they come with a tie and they don't know how to do it. So learn how to tie a tie. Learn how to pin a boutonniere on a lapel. Learn how to do that where the pin's not sticking out and poking people. These are things that they don't do every day, but if you're going to photograph weddings, you're doing pretty much every weekend during the summer. So learn how to do it and do it well, and it'll make your life a lot easier too. And you'll be their hero. Details for the men, the cufflinks, the tie, sometimes the socks, the shoes, sometimes those are rented and they're generic, but sometimes they've really brought their own style to it. Groomsmen together, whatever fun things the guys do there is fun. Pre-ceremony, father and first look with the bride, that's a newer thing within like the last 5 to 10 years. Bride and groom's first look. Okay. I'm gonna stop here. Anybody heard of that before? The first look? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody run across that idea that they're very opposed to it? They don't want to see each other before the ceremony? Yep, more traditional couples, they'll be more that way. Be like, oh, it's bad luck to see the bride before the ceremony. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, let's talk about this a minute now. I have photographed, gosh, a lot of weddings. I don't even really know how many over my years, but it's been great. No couple that I've ever done a first look has ever told me that they've regretted doing that. So I'm taking the bride and groom into a separate place, completely separate, not just them and 100 of their family members who are nosy and can't keep to themselves. No parents, no siblings, nothing, just those two people. Give them a minute, yes, to see each other first, versus every camera shoved in that man's face to see his reaction to seeing her come down the aisle. I mean, that to me, that just seems a little violating, although I'm the one doing it and getting paid for it. But if I give them a chance to see each other and have that raw emotion ahead of time, privately, I think that's a wonderful thing.
It's also a stressful time. I'd have to think it was reassuring to the couple before they do that.
I have seen nothing but that. Exactly. You're right. Because, well, let's do this one. Ladies, married, unmarried at least once. Okay. Even if you're not married right now, on your wedding day, how stressful was it? People coming to you all day long. Oh my gosh, Aunt Ruth's drunk. Where's this? Where's that? So-and-so's hitting me. I don't know about this. I don't know about that. When's this happening? All freaking morning long, right? Okay, I've seen it. I've seen it myself. By the time you get dressed, you're about ready to whoop someone's butt. Whether it's a child, a parent, whoever, you're ready to do that. Wring someone's neck. This gives you a moment to get with that person who you're marrying and just reconnect with them for a minute right before going into the ceremony. So you don't walk in with well, when's this happening? And why is that happening? And I didn't get to sit where I wanted to sit, whatever. You get to leave that behind and just connect with that person that you're there for. Whoever that is, that's your person. Connect with them, reset your emotions, have a moment alone, have just a moment to yourselves, and then go into the ceremony. I've seen it be absolutely beautiful over and over and over again. Okay. Also, I'm going to throw out where the tradition, well, 2 different traditions about, or myths, or whatever you want to say. I'm sorry, someone was going to say something. Go ahead.
No, excuse me. I was just coughing.
Oh, okay. Not seeing the bride beforehand. Old, ancient, biblical story. Jacob worked 7 years for his bride's, Rachel's hands, but she's the younger sister, and the younger sisters did not get married first. The older sisters got married first. So Veil's put over her face. Mary's off Leah, the older sister. Doesn't know it till the next morning. Oh my gosh, what happened? Ah, then the man, Jacob, has to work 7 more years for the bride originally promised to him. So now he's married to both sisters, but it was the old trickaroo with the veil. So now we like to say that it's, the veil is all about I'm sorry, can you guys hear me over that vacuum in the hallway?
Hmm.
I can
Okay.
still hear you.
I'll just talk louder, more intentionally. They're coming closer. So veil over the face is more of, that harkens back to that idea of you're not sure who you're getting. And that's really not the best idea. And it could be a lie. And the don't see them beforehand, partially that, partially trying to keep virtue, I'm not sure that really either one of those are things that we want to perpetuate. So I don't feel bad at all trying to express and talk people into a first look, because what it really does now is help connect that couple to each other before the ceremony. And they can have a private moment to themselves on what is hopefully the most important day of their lives. So that's my 2 cents about the first look. So what I do with that, technically what I do is I'll go, sorry, that thing is bothering me. Hang on a sec. So what I will do with the first look is have the groom in the room or the space or wherever it is, but it needs to be private, not where everyone in the world can see them. So if you're at a venue outdoors, that's fine. Just make sure that it's private. We don't want all the guests looking on, because that's kind of not the point. Make sense? Okay, I see a head nod, thanks. And then I'll bring the groom in, the bride in, turn the groom around and let them see each other. Now, I usually photograph with an assistant when I'm doing weddings, and I'll have us crossing each other. So I can look at the bride, they're looking at the groom, and get that first reaction as they walk in the room and see each other. And then I leave. Leave. Actually leave them alone. And I tell them, because we're planning, you're going to hear this all the time. Plan with your couple. Plan with the event coordinator, whoever it is. But I'm going to talk a lot about weddings because that's the base of ideas. Plan with that couple ahead of time and let them know, I'm just going to be there for the very beginning when you see each other, your reactions, and then I'm going to leave you be for about 5 minutes. Let you have your own moments to yourself. Great. Come back on in. I'll get more photos at that time, because those photos, those portraits of that couple at that time are going to feel much more intimate and romantic than ones after the ceremony. They're just going to feel completely different. It's going to have a different feel to it altogether. That you don't have much time. So you need to be cognizant of your time, always cognizant of your time. Don't hold up anything for the wedding, for the pictures. Learn how to be very efficient, get your lighting right, get your camera settings right, and then get these things done. Okay, first look. Father and bride going down the aisle. I love to get that last minute, because they're waiting outside if it's a traditional church or an event center where the doors open and they go down the aisle. It's a very great moment to have there with the daughter and father. Generally, great moment. Groom seeing the bride. This is also where it's helpful to have an assistant, someone doing something different than what you're doing. When it comes to the aisle and people coming down the aisle, I will situate myself in the aisle. I will actually take a chair. I will. Now, I don't stay there, but I'll take a chair just that I'm not in the way, but I can have a front row seat, so to speak. So maybe 3 or 4 back behind the family, but in the aisle, and I kind of tuck myself in, because when everyone's standing, it's not a big deal. It's not like there's only, there's 10 seats and 11 butts. When you're standing, it's okay. I can kind of tuck in a little bit. And as soon as that, so as that bride's coming down the aisle, click, 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 click. She's farther away, closer, closer. Now it's just head and shoulders, and they pass me. And then I'm standing there to get the last kiss. The dad gives, permission to the daughter and whatever, however. And then they go their way. I have the first view of that. It's gorgeous. And then I'm out. And we go to the sides and we do the other pieces of that. Cool? Everybody following me?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of lenses would you think you'd be using during that if you're the one in the aisle?
100 millimeter.
Okay.
70 to 200.
Depending on how long the aisle is, but let's say it's a smaller church. With that longer one, yes, you're going to get really great bokeh in the background, but you're going to be limited very quickly on how much you can get wide. As they come closer to you, you're going to be limited, very, very limited. Think medium. I find anyway that it works really well, like my 24 to 70, something around in there, because then I can get them pretty much really close to me, standing very close. Now, granted, by that time, it's head and shoulders of them coming down the aisle, but I could get longer as they're further out, gets closer, closer, closer. The image just gets closer. Focal length in, closer. And then, yes, then I can kind of scooch out pretty quick. Let's see. Often, depending on where the light is coming from, sometimes you'll need to use flash, on-camera flash, and I just have it pointed up so that it's spreading all over and not directed at the bride, because then that's just going to wash them out, especially if they're like me and they have like 0 melanin in their skin, right? You're just going to wash that poor girl out. Now, if it's Brian over there, okay, sure, you can flash him. He's good. He's got melanin. He can handle it. Not me, man. I become white, white, and reflective. So it's not helpful. Okay, let me go on here. So things during the ceremony, all this, you want to record this while they're doing it, but this could also be some of the things that they do, some of the details that you capture beforehand. One of you guys said that too, like if they have a memory box, a sand in a jar, they're taking communion, that type of idea. Right after the service, sorry, I'm getting texted, it's squirreling me. Right after the service, bring the family right back in. I have a way that I do wedding portraits for families. Feel free to steal this. It's a great way to do it. 2 families, bride and groom. Whoever's family is the largest and or has the most small children, go with that family first. Bride and groom in the middle. You never separate them. After the ceremony, I don't separate them. Oh, remind me to go back beforehand, because I was telling you guys I have certain things that I do that are special that just remind me of that when I get done with this. Bride and groom. Then their families, or sorry, their parents, just their parents, okay? So if I'm doing the groom's family, let's say he's got the larger family, bride and groom, mom and dad, let mom pick what side she wants to stand on. She's probably going to pick to stand with her son. Great, let her do that. Give mom that preference, always, always. And then we start going from there. Siblings, married spouses, children, everybody, aunts, uncles, anybody who might even think they're related, bring them on in. Every single person. All right, I kid you not, I still do this to this day. I learned it when I was shooting weddings way back when, at the beginning of my career. I seconded, and it was great. I learned this trick to get everybody to look at you and smile, make faces at them. So I have my light set up. I've got it on camera, off camera flash. I've got it set up and pointed at them. They look good. I've already had that set up. I have my camera in front of me. I'm moving people so I can see their faces, because inevitably the short people will go to the back and try to hide. Got to move them around, and you got to move them and smile at them. You can say almost anything as long as you're smiling at them. You can be like, okay, sweet little aunt over there in the green shirt, and this little hand pops up. Yes, you, come on forward. I can't see you. Doesn't matter. Bring them on up. Great. Thank you. Smile. It works. Okay. Get them all in the right place. I take a picture or two just to make sure that everybody's lit. People are standing and I can see all their faces. And by this time, they're already starting to look off like, oh my gosh, are they done yet? I am so over this. Right? Then I will take my camera down just a little bit and I'll be like, okay, kids, I'll look at any child. And I'll say, okay, all the big people, look right here. I'm going to get all the kids' attention. Okay, you ready? Are you ready? And by this time, the kids are hearing my voice go, are you ready? I'm not sure. I think you're ready. And the kids are like, what's going on? I'm slightly interested. And then I'll start making faces and I'll blow raspberries and I'll do all kinds of stuff. And every single person is laughing at me because I'm making faces and being silly, but then they're smiling. They're not looking off to another camera. They're not looking around at their children. They're looking at me. Pop, pop, pop. 3 pictures. I am done with that group. And then I start. So I start with the full group and then I just say, okay, now parents, grandparents, siblings, stay. If you're, extended aunt, uncle, cousins, go. You're welcome to go to the ceremony or the reception. Have a nice one. Picture, picture, picture. Parents and grandparents. Boom, picture, picture, picture. Okay, grandparents. I want to get the grandparents out as quickly as possible. Okay, so grandparents only. Boom. Then I'll bring back the parents, maybe the siblings. But when I'm done, I'm done. And then I can switch families. This goes very, very quickly. Sorry, I said that kind of discombobulated. Did that part make sense to y'all?
Yeah.
About the family pictures?
hmm
Okay, good. Going back to, I'm going to go all the way back here before the ceremony. Pre-ceremony. I actually like to I don't like to split up a couple once they're married. Once they go down the aisle and say their vows, I don't like to split up a couple. But I do want, and if any of you are parents, maybe you can tell me the same thing. When your son gets married, you want a picture of you and your son on his wedding day. Has nothing to do, good, bad, or indifferent, with whoever they're marrying, but you want a picture of you and your son or you and your daughter on their wedding day, right?
Right.
I mean, it's weird to do that any other time. In my book, it's weird to do that any other time but before the ceremony. So while they're still separated, I'll bring their family in. So the bride's come, she's dressed, she's had her first look with her dad. She has a moment with her parents, and I take pictures with her and her parents, siblings if they're there and they're close. But I don't make a huge production of that. To me, I want that to be for the parents. Cool. Same with the groom. I'll do the same with him, especially bringing in his mama and taking a picture, taking some portraits with mom and son on his wedding day. Cool. That's something I do a lot that I have found that people love, and feel free to steal it. It's all yours. Okay. Family portraits. Remember the important people. Those are all the things that you need to kind of go from there. The wedding party. And then after that, before the reception, be aware of what time frame you're on, because you don't want to be late. You do not want to hold up the wedding for you. You need to be quick, get the portraits done, but get them well done. Part of that is making sure the proper time is set in the timeline. But again, this goes back to planning. I'll go over that more and more and more. Plan ahead of time. So the couple portraits, we have portraits of the couple beforehand in their first look. Those are going to feel completely different than these portraits after the wedding. After the ceremony, before the reception, these portraits are going to be great. Off-camera flash. You can take more time with the posing, have a lot of fun with it. these are the ones that they're going to put up on the wall. They've got their ring on. She still has her flowers. They still look good because the makeup hasn't melted off yet. The hair still looks good. Okay, this is important stuff. And then go into the reception, get all the things. If they spent money on it, that's a rule of thumb, photograph it. It's a good one. I would also talk to the couple ahead of time about food for you. The way that I'd like to do weddings when it comes to that is, and I'm going to go over more details the next few weeks, are the details, the portions of the ceremony. But the way that I like to do it is tell them, you're going to eat first because you're the bride and groom. I would like to quietly be able to grab a plate and eat also, so that when you're done eating, I'll be done eating, and then I can actually go with you and go to every table and get photographs of you and your people. So as they're saying hello to all their distant relatives and neighbors and friends, I can go take pictures of them with doing that. And I'm not thinking, oh, my stomach is hungry and I want to eat food, and or missing it altogether. But that's something that you want to talk to them about. Just saying, okay, I'm the personal paparazzi, we're doing it. And then their exit, whatever exit they have planned. And of course, the reception, dancing through the night, have fun. Now, this is my very generic, lot of holes missing, a lot of holes in here of my timeline. Your assignment is to take this and fill in every detail that you can think of a photograph that you want to get during that wedding. That's your assignment for this week. Now, next week, we're going to start in on the wedding itself. So, yep, we have pre-ceremony, ceremony and reception, and then I have another piece at the end here. But we're going to spend the next couple of weeks after that going over this more in detail. But right now, this first one, the outline of a wedding, I want you to give me an outline of all the shots that you're going to get during a wedding. Cool? And you're going to turn it in not as a Word or any other thing on a Google Sheet. You're going to turn it in as a PDF. If it's not a PDF, I'm not even going to try to open it. I'm going to give you half credit and ask you to do it as a PDF. Okay? Questions? I'm going to stop sharing here. Any questions? Absolutely none.
My questions come later when I start sorting through it.
That's all right. Just think them through now. That's really the idea, is think
There's
through
an
all
outline,
these.
right?
Just the outline.
So you don't have to put in a lot of description of how you're going to
Nope,
do the photo.
just an outline, bullet points.
Bullet points. Okay.
Yep, just like I have, bullet points. Those ideas.
So
Any
I just shot a
questions?
baby shower this past weekend. Am I able to use that?
You may not be able to get all the information that you would need from the final for that.
Okay.
There's a
Just
lot
wanted to-
more. There's more involved in it than just the photos from the event for the final. Like, because I want to teach you guys how to network from these things. So you need networking pieces. So business cards of people who provided materials from the vendors and other things of that sort. And if you photographed it last week, it may or may not have any of that information. Does that help?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. But again, you can make anything, just about anything, an event. You can have friends over, can have, I keep saying go to a farmer's market because that's a summer thing. Go to a 4th of July event, whatever. But because this is built on weddings and events, I want to talk to you more about making a living from that, and not just photographing a wedding, but actually how to make a living from this, which a lot has to do with networking, which helps you get more jobs. Yes, which helps you be more known, more jobs, more money, well-known, good work, networking. It's very helpful, all of it together. So, cool? All right. Any other questions, y'all? Thanks, Evelyn. Or Esther, sorry, it's Esther. Okay. Evelyn and Esther and Caitlin, are you guys here?
Yeah, I
Yes.
wasn't feeling the greatest, so I turned off my.
That's all right. I just wanted to make sure you were here.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. All right. Any other questions at all?
And I just want to clarify, so like next week, I'm photographing things on Tuesday, but it has nothing to do with this class, but I have photographs I'm doing on Tuesday, so if I miss the class, I can watch the recording and do my homework.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am. And just so that you're aware, we do not have class that week of July 4th. I
Okay.
think July 4th is actually on a Thursday, but we're not going to have class that week.
July 4th. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think that's the only week we have off.
Also, the best, the next, anybody doing night sky photos, the next new moon is July 5th.
Okay.
Say that one more time.
July 5th is the next new moon if you do sky photos.
Got it. Thank you.
All righty. That's it. Turn in your outline for next week. And then we'll go over pre-ceremony, which is a lot of fun. And we'll talk about a lot of stuff. Anybody in here not have, or sorry, I should say, does everybody have off-camera flash? So the light stand, the flash, whatever kind of flash it happens to be, whatever sort of trigger system you need, and you've used that before. Has everybody done that?
I have.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Awesome. Caitlin, Evelyn,
In your
Evelyn, I
class.
heard you.
Yeah, I have.
Good.
Yes,
Caitlin?
I've done that.
Okay, good. Good, good. We're going to go over that a little bit, but whenever you're doing these, I would have that available on camera and off, because there's different times to use different things.
And if you have an event for which they don't want you to use flash, do you have
Hopefully
alternatives?
you have good, that you understand how to find light, and you have some flat, fast lenses and or a tripod. I've done one wedding where they're like, set up and don't move. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. All right, fine.
Yeah, my event is a sporting thing, and flashing things in front of an athlete's eyes is a bad thing.
Indoors or out?
It'll be mostly indoor.
Interesting. Have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. It's a mess.
Have fun.
That
Wide
was, al-
open apertures. Watch your shutter speeds. Yep.
that was also one of my questions with the photos. Do they have to be specifically for weddings or can they be events? Because I have a few events planned already where I'm going to be indoors at a sporting arena. One's going to be outside at a park. So I
Go
got
ahead and
stuff.
look at the final. It's there. You guys can see the assignments. Go ahead and look at it. There is a networking aspect. There's a social media aspect to it. You're welcome to photograph those things. Go right ahead. Like I said, this is not something that's going to be over your head. Just know that there's more involved than just photographing an event.
Yeah, I shouldn't put. When do you do the lecture for the networking? When's that?
I believe it's towards the end.
Okay, so my event probably be just before you do that. But
The big idea there is the other vendors who are where you are other vendors who are going to know people like you. So
say the vendors, are you talking about anybody associated with the event?
yes.
Okay, so caterers and
Yep.
okay, that's what I thought, and I was already prepared to do that, but I wanted to make sure it wasn't like, okay, I'm going to get the videographer or an additional photographer. It can be anybody at the event.
Could be anybody who's doing something and getting paid for it.
Got it.
Because generally, photographers are one of the last things that are booked. They get a venue first when it comes to a wedding. The venue is number one because that's how you pick your date.
Gotcha.
What venue and where do you want to go? So the venue is a vendor. The dress. So who made the dress? Where did they get the dress? Is it a boutique that's here in town? Is it just a regular old David's Bridal? They still have David's Bridal? I don't know. Anyway, that type of thing. Where did they get the dress? The flowers, the food, the DJ. I've gotten more jobs from DJs because I get to know them during the wedding. And it's like working with friends, which is the best. It's most fun working with friends. And then it's pretty straightforward from there. Then it's like, oh, then they might book a DJ and be like, oh, well, who's your photographer? Well, I know so-and-so. They're great. Good. Here's their card. Give them a call. See if they're available. It's so much easier to get a job that way than one of 2,000 people that they Google searched. Yeah. Instead, when I hear, oh, Carson from All Star DJs, Carson, he's awesome. How do you know Carson?
I know
Yeah,
Carson.
You know Carson?
Yeah, I actually work with him on the photo booths.
See, Carson's awesome, isn't he? And it's like, I've been working
Super
with
fun.
Carson for years. Where did you meet him? And how did, and then we have that conversation. And now we have this connection. And it just makes all the difference in the world. Yeah. Cool.
So I tend to do photography for the cons. Would that count for an event?
Absolutely.
as
It's an event.
Just double checking.
Yep.
They do have an 18+ aspect. Is anything burlesque related? Okay.
I think it's fine.
Okay. I just want to double check because I
I don't
host
think
those
we have
myself.
any children in this class, so I think we're good. Okay, Brian, I'm still counting you as an adult, whether you like it or
You got me, so.
not. Is he our 13-year-old boy?
Yeah, I was gonna laugh at you too, Brian.
There's a whole thing. There's someone on, I'm forgetting her name, but she's like bad design, and it's usually very phallic and very horribly, And all she says all the time is just show one 13-year-old boy. Seriously, you could have avoided all this mess. Anyway, okay. More questions? All right, I will see you guys next Tuesday. Again, if you can't make it, that's fine. I'm not gonna hold you, under the water or anything like that. There will be a video, whether it's from this one or from last year. It's all the same stuff. So, cool. See y'all next week.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Think you have a great day.
Too.